It's now time for Me and My Roku with your host, Peter Clay.
Who's your guy?
Peter.
So we have a voicemail now from Peter.
Not everybody sounds like Peter Clay.
This is my brother, Peter.
Pete, you are not the
Peter Clay is here today. Holy crap, it's Peter.
Oh, I love Peter.
Don't you want to know where Peter is today?
Good luck tonight, Peter.
Your host, Peter Clay.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of Me and My Roku in a brand new year, the first episode of 2022. I will not say Happy New Year because we're well past that at this point. But I'm your host, Peter Clay. Welcome aboard. This is the program where I discuss what I do, me, as in Me and My Roku. The me part is I tell you what I do. I don't tell you what to do. I just tell you what I do. And by that, there may be some osmosis that goes on there and says, oh, well, if he does that, then I can do this, or I'll do that, or I won't do that, and I'll never mention that into my brain ever again. It's up to you to decide. I just report what I do. I just find it easier that way. I've been doing the cord cutting for over 10 years now. Got a Roku 2009. That is the Black Friday, so late 2009. So, well over a decade now. And then shortly after that, cut the cord. And that's where all of our things come from now. Or over-the-air antenna, very rarely. But then comes through a streaming device. Whether it's our TV, whether it's the Roku itself, or Apple TV, or Amazon Fire, or Google TV. We've got them all here. And I report back to you to decide for yourself. So if you use something else, that's fine. I go through them all. I go through it all, and you just decide. We find here that the Roku has the best interface and the best thing for, like, if I have to leave the house, if I have to go away or whatever, that someone else in the house, the little missus, then goes, okay, I got this. That you can't do some of the other things, even the TV, but it does goes like, why do I do that when I can just get the Roku? And I say, boom, here you go, honey, off you go. So that's part of the basis of it, and that's kind of the best way to explain it to everyone else. So there you have it. So, hey, so with the new year and all that stuff, we got new things going on. We got price hikes. We've got what's going to happen in the next year and all that good stuff. So we have a lot to get to here, so let's get started.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Okay, so we are 3 weeks into the new year already. It just keeps on going. It never stops. Time just keeps on going. Anyway, so how are your New Year's resolutions going? Remember those things? Well, one of these things that we always like to look for in the new year is what's going to happen. Do we just kind of let it fly by and all that stuff, or do we actually kind of plan ahead and say, oh, what do we look forward to and all that stuff? Well, one of the things I did over the Christmas break, I did watch the movie Encanto. Can I say a little more? Encanto on Disney Plus. Love having Disney Plus back. It was only 2 weeks. But it seemed like the 2 longest weeks of my life without Disney Plus. But now I got the Disney bundle with Hulu, and everything's hunky-dory. So one of the things we watched was Encanto. And a little better, I enjoyed it very much, and probably a little better than I did with last year's Christmas movie, which was Soul. A good movie as well, but obviously with all these movies here, they have mixed metaphors in there, or not even mixed metaphors, it's plain flat out in your face metaphors and all that stuff. So last year's metaphor was, you find out that there's actually an afterlife, but you go, no, I'll pass. I'd rather play jazz in a dingy bar. But, hey, that was his dream and his goal and all that stuff. So, fine movie, but it was like, hello, big deal here. Anyway, but with Encanto, what you have, the mixed metaphor is there's cracks. Right? Everything's around it. Everyone has a superpower. Everyone's going around. Not everyone's doing what they want to do, but they have a superpower. Why would you want to give that up, right? But there's cracks, and you can't talk about it, because if you talk about it, then the cracks get bigger and all that stuff, until all of a sudden it becomes all-consuming, and everything goes to hell, and all of a sudden your superpower is powerless towards it, everything comes down, but then you realize the superpower has been within you all along. You didn't really need that superpower. It was just you all along, and then once you realize that, then your superpower that comes back together, and you can rebuild, and then everything comes back together again. So, we've been noticing that within the cable television things all along. There's been cracks in this. It's like, yes, we need this stuff, but if you would just let us choose what we want, we'll pay for it. Yes, some people still want things for free. I'll cut the cord and get it for free, but that's few and far between, really. I mean, obviously, we've gone through the piracy phase, and then we went through everything. We could get everything we could for free. Now, everything's at our hands. Everything's within our control. Now, can we get more of that and less of the still kind of bulk, things, and then we can just kind of choose our own stuff? Will that happen more this year compared to last? We'll see. It seems like there's two dominoes to fall. The big cracks in there is, and once these things go, the whole thing falls down. And that is Fox News and ESPN. If one of those two kind of say, you know what, cable, yeah, we're going to do it our way now. And still be on cable, but not be so emboldened. So if you want ESPN, all you got to do is just go to ESPN Plus, and what is it, $6.99 now, $7.99, or part of the Disney bundle, $9.99, and you get all of ESPN. Who wouldn't do that as a sports fan? I have big problems with ESPN, but not when it comes to actually having sports. And that's what I love ESPN Plus for, because I can go to the sports without going with the he said, she said for 12 hours straight. One or two topics that are just debated endlessly through endless programs on and on and on. The actual sports part of ESPN is still done brilliantly. It's that other crud that they give you is the problem. So I pay as part of my, and I get gift cards. That's another side issue of the show here is that I pay for very little out of my pocket. Basically, for the internet service, and that's about it. Everything else comes through things that I do here that I get gift cards for, and that pays for everything. So I, get different things. That's side issue. So that's the big deal. Will this happen this year? Fox News, ESPN. Well, one of those say we're going on our own. Now, if somebody else, we see CNN Plus come out this year, is that going to be the same different like ESPN is? And ESPN Plus is like you get the main stuff on CNN, but if you want other stuff, it's on CNN Plus. And will that stuff on CNN Plus be better, actually? Do you want actual news? Or do you want the headlines of, oh, you're all going to die, and if you don't do this, and if you don't agree with what we say, you're wrong, oh! Anyway, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting year as far as some of that stuff goes, because we saw at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. I don't think they actually call it anymore. I think they just call it CES. And we didn't see anything really exciting. I mean, maybe some more bigger TVs, and maybe some 8K and all that stuff, but nothing mind-blowing that we haven't seen before. No real new devices were announced or anything like that. The past year, we had the Amazon Fire TV Max 4K stick. We got the new Samsung TV here, and that was about it. And maybe, I guess, the Google TV as well. So, is Roku going to come out with anything else? What about Apple? Oh, what are they going to be doing? Well, we might have some stuff in the news later on here as well. So it's going to be an interesting year. So as far as some of the changes so far around here so far, the only thing that I've changed so far in the new year is with Hulu. And I have Hulu Live. Hulu Plus Live. And now I get that with the Disney bundle with that, so I'm going to hold on to that for a little while. I think I'm going to hold on to that till after the Super Bowl. But boy, did I tell you, as soon as the NFL regular season stopped, I mean, Scott Hansen barely took off his mic, and I was on that line there canceling my sports package. That took 10 seconds. Anything other than Red Zone really was of no interest to me. I kind of like watching the horse racing every now and then. But basically, all I really do is take a horse that I see is anywhere from 4-1 to 6-1 and bet it to place. And that's I don't really need to see the horse. Some people are superstitious, and if they look as the horses are walking through, and if one of them takes a dump, that's the one they bet on because if they feel lighter. I don't know. It's superstition, Anywho, that's what we've done so far here. That's the plan for so far. But the plan for so far is just to see what happens and kind of go with it. There's going to be a whole bunch of different things. Some decisions will have to be made. We'll talk about one of them here in the next segment. But the other thing is HBO Max. I'm getting at half price right now. That's going to go to full price. Do I keep it or get rid of it at that point then? even though I'm using a gift card. We'll see. Lots of things going on there. So, wow. What a year ahead of us. What a year it's been for cord-cutting streaming. And what a year it looks like it's going to be, because we're going to have the big AT&T spinning off of Warner Media and the merger with Discovery. That'll be interesting. We got some news on that as well. And a whole bunch of other stuff. So, lots of stuff going to be happening here on Me and My Roku. Okay, so before we get to the big news, the big topic here, which you're all waiting to hear my opinion on, we have an announcement to make. There has been a change in a classification of certain channels here. The Advertising Video on Demand, or AVOD channels, will now, from this moment on, be referred to as FAST channels, free ad-supported television. Okay, got it? So no more AVOD. We are now, which sounded like a disease. You need to see a doctor about that. Now we go to FAST channels. I was not approached by this at all. I just found out over the Christmas break. No one asked for my opinion or how I felt about it or anything along those lines. But I will just realize that's what's going on and just going with the motions there. We got bigger fish to fry, like price changes. Yes, it's always a big deal. Oh, Disney raised their price $1 last year. Oh my gosh. But as long as it wasn't what you were watching, it was okay, right? Hulu raised a couple of different prices there, and Disney and everything else. But you got something in return in some of those things. So now it's a big deal now because it's Netflix. Dun, 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 dun. Netflix, yes, if you, for some reason, been living in the cloud and now just getting Netflix for the first time or re-upping with Netflix, the price changes are already in place. So for the main D for HD and all that, it's like $15.50, and for Netflix unbridled or unlimited or whatever it is, it's like almost $20 now, almost $19.99. And then the basic package now goes over $10. It was under $10. Now it goes up a little bit. So what does this mean? Is people just ditching everything and running for the pitchforks and all that stuff? Oh boy, the clickbaits were all over. Oh, are you going to cancel? Well, here's where you can go and all that stuff. Well, we'll get into that in just a second. But let's just get to the issue of Netflix now. Investors love it. People are like, it's getting kind of close here, folks. But on the other hand, the value probably still there. If this is your main thing, it's up to you. In the Me and My Roku household here, we are in the middle of another 6 months free whatever, because we purchased a device that came with it. One other if you get Netflix for free, like through T-Mobile, they say it's still going to be available for there. So nothing's going to change there. No change in prices with your T-Mobile there either. So for us, ran by, I mentioned it to the missus that maybe in June when it expires, and she's like, no, we're going to keep it. And I says, well, you don't, pay for it. And I was like, yeah, I know, but you're going to, So I said, okay, well, I'll ask again back in June and all that stuff. I'm enjoying Netflix again. I found some things. Now, I found some things that are close to what I watch on other networks, maybe around food. And so I was like, well, why would I watch that when I can watch it on Food Network? But, like there was that one, like the best leftovers ever. And it's like, okay, that's blatantly Chopped. Okay. I like Chopped better. I'm going to keep watching Chopped. There were some other things like Nailed It and some other things that are kind of cute and kind of fun and kind of enjoy. Another one, I can't remember what it was. But hey, it's fine. But yeah, no, and I find a movie every now and then too. It's fine. But you can do that anywhere too. So people came up with a list of alternatives if you, for some reason, want to let Netflix go. Now, in this household here, we have survived for years without Netflix. It's okay. There's other things out there. So the consensus top 7 was number 1, Hulu, Number 2, HBO Max. Number 3, Paramount Plus. Number 4, Disney Plus. Number 5, Peacock. Number 6, Apple TV Plus. Number 7, Amazon Prime Video. Okay, that's the consensus from the clickbait websites. In this household here, I would say that we would move Amazon Prime up to number 2, and we would just eliminate Apple TV Plus from this discussion. It's not an alternative to Netflix. Okay, you would not drop Netflix and go, okay, I'm watching Apple TV Plus. Now, Apple TV Plus is fine. I get it as part of a package that I need so that I get, unlimited cloud storage and music and stuff like that. So it's a throw into that, and I find some things on there, including Peanuts and some wonderful programming, not just Ted Lasso. Schmigadoon was on, and I'm sure there's another show I can find out that I've watched on it. Oh, I watched a documentary series with Mark Ronson too. So I watched some things on Apple TV Plus, but for the purposes of this discussion, it is nowhere near in that category that you would drop Netflix and survive with Apple TV Plus, along with other things though. There are plenty of other things. So in this household here, it'd be Hulu number 1, Amazon Prime number 2. Yeah, maybe Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. The HBO Max is in there. We've been watching it more, and now this is one of the things with the new year. Lots of things are shifting back to their home networks. Warner Media, which for whatever they're going through and all that stuff. The Mentalist was one of my favorite shows. I went to watch it on Amazon Prime Video when I finished another show and saw it on there. And I noticed then it had left Amazon Prime, and I was like, oh no, well, I'm not going to pay for it because I've already watched it twice. And there you go, HBO Max, all 7 seasons. So you'll have to look for that. And sometimes it's best to know where the show originates from. So yes, the show was on CBS. So you think it's going to be on Paramount Plus. Well, no, it was made by Warner Media then. So there you have it. So yeah. And now I throw in another one. So I'm taking off Apple TV Plus and I'm adding the AVOD or FAST channels. They're like Tubi, Pluto TV, and throwing that in there as well. You could, without Netflix, live with a Hulu plus the FAST channels. You could. And Disney Plus or Peacock. You could, theoretically. Amazon Prime for us has usually always been our go-to Netflix replacement because it is very similar, if not almost borderline the same. They don't have, obviously, the originals, but Amazon has their own originals, Hulu has their own originals, and so on and so forth, and all the way down the line. Could you, theoretically, yes, live without Netflix if the price got to be so much as like, can I do better? It's almost like cutting the cord from the cutting of the cord. It's a famous debate around here and all that stuff. We have, it's okay, and it's nice to have it back. Get it for a month again and binge it to your heart's desired, and then get rid of it again. That's the beauty of what we're talking about here. Or you can just keep it. It's fine, and let some of that other stuff go. That's fine as well. Where is the intrinsic value? Is there value there still in Netflix? And according to me, as part of me and my Roku, yes, I can see that. But it's getting close. So if I had to compare the two, so if I had to make a decision right now at Netflix $15.50 a month or Hulu bundle, we'll throw in the Disney bundle, Hulu without ads and the Disney bundle for $19.99, then I think I get more value actually out of the Disney bundle. I'm just saying, Netflix, so just be careful out there. It's getting real close. Okay, you can find another one that I didn't throw in there, which you could, because it's more of a conglomeration of networks, but Discovery Plus is almost becoming my second or third go-to right now, too. So, yeah, because that's more just TV shows and TV channels, like I said, conglomeration of stuff. So, all right, Netflix, you're okay for now, because, well, for me, I'm getting it for free for another few months yet. But after that, we'll just have to see. And the rest, you'll just have to decide for yourself. That's what we do here on Me and My Roku.
Whoa. make you hypnotize.
Okay, so maybe you recall, let's go into the past, and maybe recall me saying something along the lines when it comes to the AT&T spinoff. Sorry. Getting a little crazy with my harp there, sorry. The AT&T spinoff of Warner Media and their proposed merger with Discovery Plus, or Discovery Communications, which includes Discovery Plus. So there's going to be that's a lot to ask for. You know, it's been taking almost a year to come together. It's supposed to come together in the spring, say maybe May at the earliest. Well, there's something I've said all along, you know, in the past. If you go back there, that something's got to go. You know, I warned Chip and Joanna Gaines, hey, you know, don't put a for sale sign outside here, but just, you know, be on the lookout. I've said things along those lines. Well, it looks like we have a winner of the first casualty that may come from the proposed merger, and that is the CW. Oh, what's that all about, the CW? Well, we all know what it is now, and it's a very fine, I would say, kind of auxiliary network, you know, for us here in the fine city of Madison, Wisconsin. You have to get it on a second-tier channel, so it's 15-2. But for somebody else, it might be on a, you know, further down the line in channels, all that stuff. So it's a fine broadcast network, and streaming, they're always been available and always ad supported. And so no cable subscription required to get it or anything along those lines. So they've been kind of progressive that way. But what's the background here? It's a kind of a joint ownership between Viacom, CBS, and AT&T, Warner Media type of thing. Now let's get on Uncle Pete's lap here. Not too close here now because we're still in the Omicron stage here. But yeah, let me tell you a story here. So way back in the 90s, so that goes back further than that. So remember these things called broadcast network channels. Yeah, over the air, yes. There was an antenna that you'd have to put up and you tune your TV to get this. So there was the basic networks there, ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS. Okay, those are the big four for the longest time. And then somewhere along the line, then Fox came in. And then there was also independents then, too. Oh, so you had your big networks like WGN and, well, first it was WTCG, and they became TBS, or WTBS and then just TBS. So these things there. So you would have your major networks and your independents. Then Fox came along and kind of did some things and made a splash. I mean, they came in there and all of a sudden here's Married with Children and The Simpsons and different shows. They were wrong. And then they had the gall to get in the nerve and knock CBS out of the NFL for a few years and all that stuff. And then NBC got kicked out when CBS said, we want it back. Oh, dominoes fell and all that stuff. So some other things thought that they could make some noise then, too, and it took out some of the independents. And it was kind of shameful in a way. So first there was the WB channel. Yes, Warner Brothers. There you go. Then there was, it seems like we have it now, but there was called the Paramount Network. And their whole big thing was they were going to release a new Star Trek Voyager. So there you have it. So that was a big deal. So they kind of went on their way, and they couldn't make it independently. So the WB and the Paramount Network got married, and it became the CW. So now AT&T is spinning off Warner Media. Warner Media says, this might not fit into our plans here now, and all stuff. And then Viacom CBS says, well, we got our own thing. We got Paramount Plus. We're good on our own here. So it's a possibility, may be a casualty of the AT&T spinoff of Warner Media and their merger with Discovery. It's possible. The best scenario that's been put out there is a group of affiliate networks that run the channels, that own the channels that they broadcast on. They may get together and purchase it. That's one rumored situation. We'll see. And then where it goes from there, as far as the app goes, will it still be ad supported? Will they want maybe a cable agreement? Who knows as far as that goes? And will anyone care? So, it may be something. It may be, is that going to be enough to hold off, antitrust type of things with the merger of Warner Media and Discovery. We'll see about that. But that's at least one shoe to maybe probably fall. We'll see if there's any. I'm not saying Chip and Joanna Gaines should move from Waco and go do something. I'm just saying because they got the Magnolia Network now. But I'm just be mindful, be ready to go just in case. Just have, I don't know, maybe a rental reservation or something. Just a reservation. Doesn't mean anything. So there you have it. The CW possibly on the move. We'll find out here on Me and My Roku. Okay, kids, gather around. Not too close. We are not out of the woods yet, but we'll get there. But we can still get together here just a little bit and have a little chit-chat here, just little discussions here. The bandwidth of this podcast and all my podcasts that I've done since 2005 is brought to you by the Internet Archive, or archive.org, keepers of the Internet Archive, and you can find that today at archive.org. Please check that out. Please consider supporting them, and just browse through the site, whether it's just their site with all the things that are available. Think of it as like your public library. Just look at it that way and see all the things that you can either borrow or use or anything along those lines. Not just my podcast. There's other podcasts out there. There's Grateful Dead concerts. There's different books. And it's endless. Go, please, check it out today and consider a donation and supporting them because they've supported us. And by us, I mean me, for a very long time now and not asking for anything in return. And I made another Christmas donation over there. I'm happy to do it. That was 2 donations I made last year. Woo! And so if you can help support them and all that stuff, it would mean the world to me as far as if there's get anything else out of this podcast. Just realize that some of the things that are going out there and some of the good that is still being done to help preserve the internet and along those lines. And a whole bunch of different things that are now available, copyright free now too. When the new year happened, a whole bunch of new stuff came available and all that stuff. And so please check that out today. Like I said before, it's extra credit. It is actually not a part of this program. Maybe we'll do a segment more in depth at some point, but just know that the things that I do, that I watch my programming on, does not come out of my pocket. There's things that I do in the background here and that I get gift cards for. You can do that for yourself. You don't have to use it for your streaming. You can use it for whatever you want. If you want to use it to get stuff at Best Buy or electronics or Amazon or whatever you want, it's up to you. Me and My Roku, that's what I do, and that's how I do it and stuff. And one of the things I use is swagbucks.radioaffliction.com. You go to that site right there. Don't just go to Swagbucks. Go to that link I just told you. I will say it more phonetically here. Swagbucks.radioaffliction.com. Okay, that gets you all set up. That helps supports this program, then helps support you and supports them. It's all good. It's a win-win-win for everybody there. If you just go to swagbucks.radioaffliction.com, check it out, get started, get gift cards for yourself. It honestly will help me a lot then as well too. So don't forget that as well. So please check that out today, and always please check out the Internet Archive. They're well into their 26th year now. They're still celebrating their 25th anniversary. Check out all the things they've accomplished so far and all the things that they're looking forward to do. And please check that out again today at archive.org.
Science is organized knowledge. Wisdom is organized life.
Okay, how about some news, notes, and stuff? And if you've been paying attention, back when I came back after my summer vacation, I started doing kind of a daily, then pseudo-daily news, notes, and stuff, podcast and all that stuff. And it was like, well, Pete, you haven't been doing that lately and all that stuff. So, here's a little story. When news warrants, I have no hesitation in breaking in and doing this. So, the little things I scrape to get headlines along those lines is few and far between sometimes. Sometimes it does take a week to get it. So there's no sense in going through it. And it is an effort to do this for free and then go, the Internet Archive. I don't want to stretch their what they've done for me and all that stuff. They've been very nice and all that stuff. I don't want to go too crazy and all that stuff. But when news warrants, I'll do it. And if there's 3 or 4 headlines during a day and don't need to go too in-depth, just give you the headlines, I will continue to do that. I enjoy doing it and stuff. And I also enjoy having the news notes stuff at the end of the podcast, too. So it's kind of a win-win type of thing. So when news warrants, I will break in. And you just never know when I'm going to do a show. I might do one tomorrow. You never know. That's the beauty of podcasting for me, at least. Anyway, in the news notes and stuff, Discovery Plus strikes library deal with NBC Universal, adds The Biggest Loser, American Ninja Warrior, and oh boy, I cannot talk anymore, folks. Let's try the whole thing here, headline once again here. Ready? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're having fun here. Discovery Plus strikes library deal with NBC Universal, adds The Biggest Loser, American Ninja Warrior, and more. See what happens when you sit up straight and you enunciate? Anyway, so you're going to see this, actually, that some of these deals are going to license out some of their content. I mean, yes, that stuff should be on Peacock, and it is. But it doesn't hurt being on other places if they can get the licensing agreements. Why not? And it's for Discovery Plus, those programs there fit into some of the things from Discovery and stuff. So that's fine, yeah. Analyst expects streaming services to consolidate. We are seeing that with the proposed merger of Warner Media and Discovery Plus. Will we see anything else, though? Will we start seeing some of these little guys, like, say, maybe The Great Courses and what's that other one, Masterclass? Maybe they'll merge or something? I don't know. We'll see. Or BritBox and ITV or something. Actually, BritBox is part of BBC and ITV. But anyway, you know what I mean. Because I can't see Disney, doing another Fox deal. They're not going to merge with Viacom CBS. I don't think. Could Viacom CBS merge with NBC Universal? I don't know. We'll see. But it's like we talked about earlier. Something's going to happen this year, because things happen throughout the year. And we'll see what happens. So, Google explores the possibility of adding a fitness component, video communication, and more to Google TV. Somebody along the other might be a fruit company like Apple. I've actually tried the Fitness Plus. I wanted to see if I could do it through my Roku, but it has to be through. I guess I could not AirDrop. You know what I mean? AirPlay. And I've enjoyed it. I've done yoga. How about that? Hey, I found my center. And so why wouldn't Google do that? Because they have Fitbit and you have the Google TV now. They're doing different things. Okay, here we go. Sports betting and streaming. What's next? Okay, so we've had another big domino fall in the legalization of sports gambling. The mighty state of New York, which includes then New York City. You no longer have to go through the tunnel into New Jersey to sports bet anymore. You can do it in New York, mostly mobile. And that's a big thing. So now lots more programming coming up. So Fubo has been big on it. Sling has had some components that have DraftKings channels along those lines. YouTube TV has added some. They've added VSiN to their sports package. So this is extra credit. This is not what you come here for. This is just opinion. This is me, part of me and my Roku. When it comes to sports betting and streaming channels and shows along those lines, here's what you need to know. If you are considering getting into, it's legal in your area, or you're going to Iowa or Illinois or something along those lines, into a legal area, and you want information and all that stuff, my advice to you on these channels, all of these channels, is they're all awful. Okay? Now, is there little bits and pieces? Can you get out of any of them? Yes, you can. But to think that you're going to go and listen to ESPN or any of those guys along those lines, all that stuff, and I picked this team to cover but not to win, blah blah blah. You know that they're kind of full of crap. So glean what you want. I would say go for the more academic things, like getting books like the Stanford Wand books or game theory and even some poker strategies along those lines, and you'll learn up different things along those lines. Stanford Wand book I got started with and found that very good. I got the basics of what prices were for things and lines and money lines and parlays and all these different things, all that stuff. So it's fun to go in there and just look at that, and that's always have fun and have a good time and all that stuff. But to get into these and think these things, VSiN is the least awful, and they have also podcasts and along those lines. You don't have to just get YouTube TV, but there's sponsorship deals. They can't give you the whole information, all the things that you really need in the nitty-gritty now. You can pick up bits and pieces here and there. You can get little hidden gems, but you kind of have to be listening, and you kind of have to search for it and all that stuff. So that's just opinion there, the me part of Me and My Roku. But just know that going into ahead of them, and if for anything else, just have an entertainment budget and just bet what you can afford to win. Report Apple considering streaming MLB games on Apple TV Plus. Well, that could be a big story. I'm not counting on the baseball season right now. I'm for sure not expecting it to end on time or begin on time. We are looking about a month away from when pitchers and catchers would normally routine. So I'm just assuming that once it does get going, then we'll see what media deals are out there. And I'm assuming that T-Mobile is still going to have the baseball package again, all that stuff, and other things as well. I'm sure ESPN Plus and other things as well. ESPN is announcing plans for a 22 MLB season, including an AVOD Manning cast. So the Manning cast was a big deal for Monday Night Football. So if the game was kind of or anything like that, you could switch over to ESPN2 and watch the Manning brothers talk over the game. And it was fun, and so now they're going to do that for baseball. Fine, who cares? Who knows? If it's the ESPN Plus deal, yeah, who cares? Fine, let them be on. Let them talk. I don't care. Or if it's a companion to Sunday Night Baseball, then as well. Like I said, hooray. One other thing on that, another report saying that Apple will spend billions on live sports over the next 4 years. We shall see. WWDC will be coming up in about less than 6 months from now. We'll see if they say anything then. Who knows? I don't expect any new hardware. They came out with a new Apple TV last year, and we'll see what's going on. And finally tonight, then, why Viacom CBS might kill Showtime and Noggin. They won't kill them. I mean, leave them for complete dead and all that stuff. I would imagine they would merge into a more conglomerated Paramount Plus. The rumors have always been there's right now the ad component, the less expensive version of Paramount Plus. Then there's the $9.99 regular version, and there's supposedly supposed to be this premium. Then that would include then Showtime and some of these other things. Noggin, that children's programming that would just get swept into Paramount Plus. I'm sure. They wouldn't just all those things. They wouldn't just let them go, would they? Anyway, so just be mindful that there's going to be some changes, like we talked about how we started the show. We end at the beginning. There's going to be things going on this year. It's going to be exciting. Consolidations and mergers and, can we maybe get some of these programs without needing a cable login? We'll see. It'll be all exciting. Oh, folks, I'm getting itchy. I'm getting twitchy. I'm looking at how to air fry grill tofu. This is really exciting stuff for me, so I can't wait to get to that, and I'll have my Roku on in the background, so I should probably get to that. But I want to thank you for joining me and all this stuff. If you want more of this stuff, just subscribe to this podcast. I would really appreciate it. Also, a big high five and a big thank you to the Internet Archive. Check them out today for archive.org. Check them out today. They provided the podcast, the bandwidth of this podcast and all my podcasts since 2005. We love them and we thank them. You can follow me on Twitter at Radio Affliction. And if you have more questions, comments, or anything along those lines, just email me at meandmyrokupodcast@gmail.com. But what really helps is subscribing. Tell a friend, tell somebody, anybody. Just say, hey, subscribe to this podcast. Well, where do I subscribe it? Well, 7 to have a list. You can subscribe to the Me and My Roku podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Ghana, JioSaavn, Himalaya, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartMedia, Podbean, Pandora, and Odyssey. Oh, we got our first podcast in the new year in. Oh, it's all uphill from here, folks. I hope you are enjoying you at your Roku as much as I'm enjoying me and my Roku, and I will be back with you real soon.
That's it. It's over. It's all over.
Isn't that right, Mr. Poopy Pants?